Everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chumps channel. I wanted to cover a little bit more about photon blades. Now, this photon blade is missing the tip. I've been, basically smacking some things in the house, and it flew off, and I have to find it. So, and otherwise, I will find another blade, get that tip from there, and put it back on this one. But I wanted to talk a little bit about photon blades, because photon blades are a very popular subject. A lot of people are very keen on getting one or having one, and I would say I wanted to cover a little bit about what is the best option for photon blades, because I see people using them, and I would say they're not using it to the full potential. So this is my 2 cents on it. So in this case, I have this photon blade here, and I have my Vader's Fault Mitsurugi blade here, saber here. Now this saber comes in a mixture of one blue dye and one green dye, mixing up for this minty green or a light sky blue LED blade color. That is a really nice color, nice shades of blue. If I want to make a nice bright green, which I can show you, so I did color mixing. Oh, let's start with that sound. So I did some color mixing. Now this will be maybe a little bit harder to show, so let me see if I can change the and change the color. So this is one dye of green, so I set the Portman's RGB to one dye of green, so you can see. Now this is, to the eye, definitely not bright. I can make this brighter by setting my LED to the single blue LED, put in the photon blade, and it is brighter. It's a brighter green. Awesome. But that is not using the green to the full potential. So of the photon blade, I should say. If you want to make the best use out of your photon blade, I would say get a dedicated blue Tricree LED. Then this photon blade is on its brightest. With a Tricree LED, you cannot get it brighter than that. So go for a blue LED. Now some people say, and they will argue, say, oh well, you didn't select a flash on class color, so why would you sacrifice your flash on class for that third blue LED for the brightness? I would say I would rather, with a photon blade, go for maximum brightness, in that case with a photon blade, with a Tricree. Then I go for maximum brightness versus the flash on class. I felt, and I always feel like, the flash on class never really comes out that great through a photon blade. The colors come out more muted. So if it's a flash on class color in a different color, it doesn't come out that great. Yes, it will have the flicker effect. Like, yeah, you can see it's hitting stuff and it will flicker. But a flash on class different color, it won't show up that good through a photon blade. That's my personal opinion. So I'd rather have a blue LED in that case for maximum green brightness. Another option would be, let's say you get a blue red LED, a Tricree blue red. So you can have your blue LED, you can have red with a regular blade, and you can pop in the photon blade and make a super bright green LED blade. So you have options there. So you don't have a full RGB. You have a super blue. Always have a super bright blue, because you have two dedicated blue LEDs, or you have a super bright photon blade in green, because you have two dedicated blue LEDs, or you have a weaker red. So you have two bright colors, one weaker color, and that is, I think, might be potentially for you more interesting than an RGB setup, where the regular blue, the regular green, and the regular red will be weak. In this case, only the regular red will be as weak as a dedicated RGB LED. So it makes up for some different colors. Now, I would argue a little bit like, well, why would you do that? Because you can buy an RGB LED for $20 US, install it in your saber, or have somebody install it, versus a photon blade, which costs you around $40 US. on average, between let's say between 30 to 40 US dollar on average for a photon blade. So that is an extra investment on top of the LED that you install, etc. So I feel it's an expensive blade. I feel it's an expensive blade. It does give you a different type of green. It's a very eerie, bright, almost toxic green. It's a beautiful green. It's not my personal preference, but it is super bright. It is super bright. If for an inhaled LED, and a photon blade gives you the brightest color, and that's in that case then the green. But I would say, is it really worth the money to you to buy these expensive blades? Because I've been dueling a little bit with it, and the tip flew off, and I need to put a tip in there, and this is a 40 US dollar blade. So that's expensive. That's expensive to mess up. This is expensive, and this is just a piece of plastic that goes inside your hilt. So it's more prone to get damaged versus the hilt itself. In most cases, you're more careful with the hilt than with the blade, because that is where all the beating is gonna be absorbed into. So I feel the photon blades are fantastic and really cool, and they really are the tool to make your lightsaber the most brightest possible. Even if you use this photon blade with with the LED strip in all blues, or the NeoPixel technology, then yeah, it's gonna be super bright in combination with the photon blade. If that's your goal, brightest of the brightest, yeah, then this is the magic that you need to use. This is one of the elements that you need to do to achieve maximum brightness. But for me, as a regular person, I don't see this as an option to create a green out of a regular saber, because I feel this is too expensive to get a green color out of a lightsaber that is not having an RGB or green LED. Then I feel like this is too expensive. It gave brightness, yes, it definitely gave brightness, but it's not worth to me to spend another 40 bucks to get that green. So for example, if this was a blue-red LED and it made up for purple and white for flashing glass, I wouldn't really want to be spending 40 US dollar to get a green out of this blade as well. Then I'd rather spend the 100 bucks upgrade and have all shades of color in this hilt. Might be not as bright as all the colors in that array, as I said before, that's dedicated versus non-dedicated tri-cree LED of a certain colors. But I mean, it's $40. It's expensive. This is more of a disposable object to me. You use it for a bit and then you trash it, because the inner filament gets broken or crinkled, or there comes some dust in, even with a dust cap. There's always something. These are just usable tools of the lightsaber. So I feel like it's not really worth to spend $40 to me. But then again, I want to know your thoughts about that. Leave that in the comment, and hopefully see you in the next video. And as always, stay scummy, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.